let's do this. This is the open beta 2 tier list. Drink says 2 p.m. That's not exactly a good thing, Ivan. The beta ended last week. I'm just now getting to a tier list, so I gave myself some time to think about it, look at some other people's gameplay, and I was also just really busy, so I couldn't make the shit right away. But and then we ain't talking about that shit right now. First things first, I don't think there's any character below B tier. It's also like not that big of a cast, so I don't think there's no reason to have a C tier right now. Even the quote unquote worst character in the game, I still think is fairly decent. Just when you compare them to the rest of the cast, you know, they are lacking in a lot of areas. I think first things first, let's get the worst character in the beta. In my opinion, the worst character is the Vanguard. The Vanguard is definitely be struggling. He does have some strong points. He has amazing space control with his spear or glaive, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he does a lot of damage and a lot of chip damage. Box with the 20 months. I appreciate it. I'm sorry to let you know, Box, but I did end up ordering Zaxby's. Your girlfriend told me to, so blame her. It's her fault why I'm getting Zaxby's right now. So it's completely her fault. I said, should I cook or get Zaxby's? She said, without blinking, get Zaxby's. I said, oh, bet. Exactly. You were not there when I needed you most. You were gone. So the Vanguard has great damage, very good chip damage, good guard gauge damage. The thing he lacks in is what a lot of other people specialize in, which is speed and defense. If you get close to him, he can't do anything about it. Like, he can't DP because his DP pretty much only functions as an anti-air, and he can't mash because all of his buttons are way too fucking slow. Of course, you can argue that, you know, he's a zoner. He's not supposed to fucking be, you know, he's not supposed to be that close. But even most, like, zoners in pretty much every other fighting, you still have a way of fighting back when someone gets close to him. He doesn't have a way of fighting back. He just has to hold that shit. Like, if you fuck up your zoning with him, or someone just rolls through, like, all your shit, you just get fucking smoked. Like, you just get cooked, and you just gotta hold that. So I definitely think he lacks in the defense department. Now, that could be changed with his kit, make his DP has more horizontal range, has a horizontal hitbox, or horizontal hitbox, or maybe some changes to system mechanics. Then I think he would be in a much better spot. All right, now that we got the words, let's get, in my opinion, the top 3 characters. I don't have these in any particular order. Actually, Vamir did want me to order it. Fuck. Okay, since we're gonna call this ordered, we're gonna call this ordered. I will say the Berserker is still top 1. I still think this character is fucking nonsense. He did get nerfed, I believe so, or at least no one that I fucking knew did the Oki properly. But if you remember back in the first open beta, his Gore Cross hit so meaty you couldn't Dragon Punch it on Wake Up. Like, if he did Gore Cross Oki and you tried to DP on Wake Up, you still got hit. Like, it was fucking ridiculous. So either they remove that, or I never fought a Berserker who did it. He still does that, then yeah, he's still staying on top 1. Fuck out of here. The only character who can consistently abuse the conversion mechanic, because he gives himself white life, and on top of that, he heals himself with every damage that he does, on top of just dealing strong amounts of damage. I don't think he does any more damage than most other characters. Well, that's because the Crusader DP has a hit of armor to it, so the Crusader probably armored through the first hit, and then the DP came out afterwards. But one thing I noticed that the Crusader doesn't do any more damage to some other characters is the fact that his damage comes on top of the white life that he already did via chip. So that's definitely why it looks like his combos be hitting you for like 80%, when in actuality it hits you for about maybe 50 to 60. But has a really annoying 5B. That 5B goes like half screen, has no fucking recovery. You can't whiff punish it. He can cancel at any point in his string as to his frenzy charge, and you can't do anything about it. And by the time you realize he did it, it's too late. You already pressed on the button and you got frame trap, and you just lost half your fucking life for it. He has strong chip damage, strong normals. strong neutral, good Oki. Like the character that's fucking everything. The only thing that's bad about him is the speed of his buttons. And we're gonna get to another character who has the exact same issue. I think these two characters are actually quite similar. They just do it in slightly different ways. And one's a lot more oppressive and a lot more autopilot than the other. So I still have Berserker top one. As long as Gorecross is still that powerful, and long as Frenzy has no fucking recovery on its activation, I cannot picture putting him anywhere lower, in my opinion. Second strongest, I think, is the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight I still think it's untapped potential. Like, there weren't many good ones. There was only one good one, and the one good one ended up winning the whole fucking tournament, the open beta tournament. She lacking a bit of the damage department, but she's one of the only characters who can get easy mode access 50/50s due to her air dash and her fucking flight. The space control from the dragon alone is actually insane. The fact that you can just throw out the dragon, like, yes, you can hit the dragon as it comes out, but a good Dragon Knight will cover the dragon as it shows up. So if you try to get a GameStop trade, because a lot of times when you hit the dragon hits you first and you end up trading. If the Dragon Knight actually knows what's actually going on, they can combo from that GameStop trade and you just get fucking cooked. So strong mix-ups, okay damage, good neutral, and that fucking dragon summon is actually kind of insane. Like, I really feel like some people are sleeping on the real potential of this character. I think a lot of people realize she's good, but I really don't think people see the actual damage this character can do. One of the only people to have actual 50/50s is kind of fucking insane. Number 3, the Crusader. It's funny. I do think the Crusader is good. I think he's a fucking nightmare to deal with, but I don't think he's above the Berserker or the Dragon Knight. Primarily because the thing that makes him scary is also a double-edged sword, which is the barrier. The barrier is what makes him scary because it adds a ton of chip damage to his normals, a ton of damage to everything he does. However, if you decide to take the route of just blocking it out, which in this game, blocking out just happens to be very strong, there aren't many defensive options. If you choose to just block it out and know when his exhaustion is about to come, you can actually punish him for it. Of course, he has ways of getting around that. He can, instead of just doing the overhead slam, he can dash up, throw you. He can backdash, do the fireball to cover the exhaustion, but even then, that's not that reliable because they can micro dash roll. I really think the only thing he has is just space control and damage, but he's still a nightmare to fight regardless because that barrier is fucking stupid as hell. The air hammer is stupid. The javelin is stupid. The wall, I think, is the most stupid thing in this fucking game. So block button does not block. I mean, you ask this every time. How do you not know what a block button does? It blocks left, right. You still have to choose to block high, low. I think the wall is still the stupidest mana move in this fucking game. The wall is absolutely stupid. It's incredibly fast startup. He gets a full combo on hit, and it tracks to where you are. So it really blows up a lot of characters, certain pressure options. Like, it blows up the Inquisitor special options from offense. A lot of our offense is based around spacing, and he deletes that because whenever you try to outspace him, he just mashes wall and you get counter hit and he gets a full combo, and then you just took like a third of your life in a fucking barrier. Okay, now you just have to duke it out and pray you don't die. So the Crusader is really strong, but I personally would not put him above the Dragon Knight and the Berserker, because if you can really just know when to tech throws and just block out the barrier, he's not super scary. I do think once people realize how to use the laser, I do think he'll become way scary. So a lot of people don't know about the laser, but he can end the barrier early and do a pretty long startup move that puts like a purple orb in the sky and just shoots lasers down at the fucking ground. No one ever does it because it's hard to set up. I think if people can figure out how to make that move work, I think he'll be a fucking nightmare. All right, top of A tier. I feel like this one's going to get a lot of people going, in my opinion. But I actually think the Inquisitor is at the top of A tier. This could be slight bias because this is my character. This is my main character. Is the Inquisitor. I plan to keep playing her, and when the game officially releases. But I actually think this character is kind of fucking insane. the more I ended up playing her, the more I started to realize like this character might be top 4, if not just straight up top 5. She's fucking stupid. She does everything the Berserker does, just slightly less busted and less chip damage. She outspaces you in pretty much every single scenario. Every single block string, she ends at such a distance where unless you're playing a certain character, sometimes like the Vanguard or the Crusader at a very certain range, or the actual Ranger, which will get you later, you can't do anything about it. You can't mash, you can't jump, you can't tech roll, you just have to hold it. Like if you look back at the gameplay that I just recently uploaded, every single block string is more or less the same. I do whatever button into delay fire toss, because it puts me in such a space where if you try to interrupt the fire toss, you get fucking cooked. You can't tech roll it because I'm too far away, and you more often than not will land in the fire, or you're still in recovery from the tech roll and you have to get thrown, or you get 5A punish. Or if you choose not to do anything and just block it, I'm now dash up and I'm plus, and you have to guess between strike or throw. And if it gets to the point where you just choose to not do anything ever, I just do the burning wheel, and then no one wants to block the fucking wheel. Yes, the wheel doesn't do a lot of damage. There's little to no chip damage, little to no guard break damage. But it's the fact that you're now forced to sit there and either think about spending 100 meter for a guard cancel, or that there is no reflects. Ivan, shut up. You're not contributing to this conversation. There is no reflect in this game. What the fuck? But you just get smoked by the wheel and you're standing there blocking it, and I'm doing a bunch of chip damage on top of that. Does she has Oki after DP? Yes, she does. She gets Oki after DP, and she gets Oki after throw. Like, her offense is fucking insane. Like, you cannot, like, once she gets going, she cannot be stopped. It is an RPS game in the big scheme of things, but it's if you watch me play Dragon Ball, I play the same way. It's like when I play Goku Blue or Kefla, a lot of the situations I put you in is RPS, but it's RPS in my favor. 2 of the options are in favor of me winning, and only one of them will make me lose. And most of the time, those 2 options cover the one that I lose. Like, yes, you can jump out of the fire. Like, if I do a block string, you're holding up, you can jump out of the fire. But if you jump at me, I can just react with 2B, and that you get fucking smoked. And her 2S. And her 2S is massive. Like, you really cannot do a whole lot. Like, if the Inquisitor knows how to play fighting games, they're good at spacing, and they know how to make reads, how to keep the offense varied, you cannot stop this character. Because once she gets you to that perfect spacing, you're fucking smoked. Only certain characters can deal with some of her tomfoolery. One of them happens to be the Ghost Blade, and one of them, in certain situations, can actually be the Ranger. The Ranger can actually deal with some things very well as well. I think the only thing that keeps her balanced is her high mana cost and her speed. She is a very slow character, to the point where I felt like the Crusader was winning in a lot of speed battles when the Inquisitor should have actually been winning. And a lot of her combos use a lot of mana. Like her debuff combo, the burn combo, uses a lot of fucking mana, because it uses her or at least the one I did cost a lot of fucking mana, because it uses her JS, and there's no air system. JMS has no input to it, so you just hit it, which means the mana regen doesn't start right away, like if you use a motion input. So it really takes a while for your mana to come back, and it gets to the point where you're in the 5 to 6 seconds that the exhaustion lasts. You can't actually 2-touch somebody because you no longer have mana for the second combo. You just have to let them live. So I think her speed and her mana cost is what actually what keeps her balanced. But I think this character is an actual problem. Like, she's really strong. I think she's a bit harder to use because she is very spacing heavy. But I think if you have good spacing, you know how to keep your offense varied, you shouldn't really be losing that much with the character. You know, I think she's really strong. And right behind her, I think, is actually the speed version of this character, which is the Kunoichi. I also think the Kunoichi is insanely strong. She also has good Oki, strong damage, Like she does very similar stuff to the Inquisitor with Flame Wheel, Flame Tornado, Toad Oki that just sits there and fucking spits fire at you the whole time. Ending certain combos with the flame, which marks you with the firebrand, and after a certain period of time it like explodes, adding more block stun or creating new combo routes. There's nothing like super duper stands out at me in terms of like what would put her above Inquisitor, what would put her in the S tier, but her speed is insane and her normals actually really, really good too. Not only are all of her normals fast, she does pretty solid damage, but her stagger game is really, really good. Stagger is not something you see much in this game because a lot of characters are kind of slow. Like you really only see staggers from the Kunoichi and the Striker, because they're the only people like super fast buttons that have like pretty safe on block. So she's gonna open you up at some point. She does have, and she also has a double jump. So if your character has a bad anti-air like the Striker, she's just gonna maul you. She's just gonna maul you from the air every single time. You can't do much about it. The flame tornado is really good. It doesn't go that far, but it's still a nightmare to deal with because a lot of her combos will force you to tech in the air, and if you get hit, it's a free combo because you're now being hit by the tornado, or you land, you just have to block and you can't see where she is, and it's pretty much just a high-low because of the jump button. I think a lot of her shenanigans can actually be dealt with the solid anti-air, like the Inquisitor 2B. A lot of Kunoichis like to do button teleport right behind you, do a falling button. Inquisitor 2B smokes that. Not 2B, 2S. I keep saying 2B. Her 2S smokes that because it hits on both sides. And she can cancel it into the Burning Wheel, or she can cancel it into the Oil Toss for a debuff combo. So. Oh, don't even get me started on the Inquisitor Beyblade spin. That Beyblade spin is fucking toxic as hell. That move is really good. So, I do think the Kunoichi is good, but I think the gaps in her offense is what would make me put her just below the Inquisitor. But if you wanted to come to me say like I think the Kunoichi is slightly better, then that would be perfectly fine. I would agree with that. It's really just I think a preference at that point because they're more or less the same character. Right behind the Kunoichi, I should put the Ranger, bro. I was happy. I finally got to see some good Ranger gameplay. Because in the last beta, I saw no good Rangers. Every Ranger I saw was absolute cheeks, and I was really sad because he looks cool. I feel like he can do a lot of work, but every Ranger was just kind of trash. I finally got to see some solid Ranger gameplay, and boy, this character will put some bullets in your ass, bro. Ranger is shooting motherfuckers. It's hard to get past since he is a tall character. Like he's actually one of the taller characters in DFO, the source material, and they kind of transferred that into this game. Whenever he stands up, you can't jump over his bullets on reaction. Because the way he shoots will clip you for like the first half of your jump startup. His 5 MS, I'm pretty sure it's just 5 MS, where he just shoots in front of him a bunch of times, has massive range on it. There is a gap between the second and last hit, but the range and the hitbox on the last hit is actually bigger than the first two barrages. So you kind of just have to hold that. His air game is solid with I think his JB, where he shoots down. That shoots at a very, very strong angle. He can cancel into his JMS, where he just shoots down directly below him. That he can cancel into itself. So you kind of just have to figure out what's he gonna do there. Like Street Fighter V's Luke Sandblaster, exactly, bro. You kind of just have to hold that shit. His DP is actually decent. It hits on both sides. Has an okay horizontal range, or okay vertical range, but it's just that it's okay. But it does hit on both sides, which is a good plus. He has a cheat neutral tool with this slide that he can make safe with the breakdance spin, or he can just do the fly across the fucking screen and shoot you. And if you get hit, it's a crumble state into a free combo. And not to mention, he has a pseudo burning wheel / flame tornado with the Death Hawk or gun. I think it's called Gun Hawk actually. But he just throws the revolvers at you and they're just fucking shooting at you. Yeah, he can do that shit too. So he's like a zoning version of the Kunoichi, the Inquisitor. You know, solid damage. You get fucking shot. If he's somewhat awake, he can catch you trying to roll through the bullets and throw you, and just reset everything all over again. So I'm glad to see some solid Rangers. I'm actually really happy to see some good ass Rangers. Right below the Ranger, I'm gonna put the Ghost Blade. I think the Ghost Blade is all right. It was either between him and Striker to be right behind the Ghost Blade, actually. Because I do think both characters are strong, but I think the Ghost Blade is actually. I'm gonna put the Striker above the Ghost Blade due to one simple fact. I was gonna put the Striker below the Ghost Blade because the Striker is very linear in what she wants to do. You know what she's gonna do before she even knows what she wants to fucking do. All Strikers play the same. Even the good ones, the bad ones. Like I watched Sonic Soul, who was one of the best players during the open beta. He plays Striker the exact same way pretty much everyone else does. He just has more optimal combos, and he just plays at a much faster pace. All Strikers do, they sit at full screen or zone 2, then they micro dash punch or micro dash 2B, or they jump dive kick. That's all they do. If you know how to deal with those three options, with the Inquisitor can deal with very easily. This character cannot get in whatsoever unless you fuck up. Like the moment you see them dashing in, 5ms, flame toss. Post you back, they get counter hit, full combo. What are you gonna do? Same thing, oil toss, burning wheel. You think they're gonna dash up 2B, jump base plan. They get hooked every single time. So I think her neutral plan is very linear, but she has some of the best pressure in the game. The dive kick is fucking atrocious with the quadruple overhead dive kick. Has like 4 ways of getting hard knocked down. It's like when she gets in, it's party time, which is fine. That's the point of the character. She has a struggle. She has to YOLO her way in, which is not a bad thing. But I personally don't like characters who have to YOLO to get inside. But she has to YOLO to get in. But when she's in, it's fucking over. She's staying in your face. She has amazing staggers. She has the dive kick. The dive kick does not hit overhead, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter because the dive kick is plus on block. She can get up to 4 overheads from it. She can cancel anytime it's into a low. She can reverse beat her normals with her specials and her mana specials on top of that. She can reverse beat fucking everything. And she has a pretty solid throw. She doesn't get a whole lot of Oki from her throw, but it's still a mix up that you just have to hold. And on top of that, she does solid damage too. She gets a hard knockdown from like 3 of her fucking moves. I think her Tatsu kick from the air is a hard knockdown. Her DP is a hard knockdown, and the 1-inch punch is a hard knockdown. She has 3 fucking hard knockdowns, right? Like, excuse me. But the reason I put her above the Ghost Blade is for one simple fact: it costs a lot of mana to do, but she can make her DP plus on block. If you mash her DP, which is not the best DP, excuse me, because the range on is fucking atrocious. It doesn't go forward at all. It only goes up. But if it makes contact with the opponent, she can cancel it into her Tatsu kick, which is plus, and it's gapless. Yeah, she mashes DP in the Tatsu kick, and it's plus on block. So her DP is essentially plus if you have the mana for it. So, and on top of that, from the Tatsu kick after the DP, she can do falling buttons. Like she can do falling JL or do dive kick. Like so she can she's that plus. So I think the sheer fact that she's able to do that will put her above the Ghost Blade, who doesn't even have an actual defensive move. Which I guess we can get to the Ghost Blade now. I think the Ghost Blade was obviously the new addition to the open beta test 2. I think he's a solid character. His damage is okay. His space control is actually really good, but it costs a lot of mana. Like, I feel like that's something a lot of people were kind of overlooking. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, I have so much trouble trying to get in on this character. Because at any point, he can do his 5ms, which shoots the ghost out, like, fucking immediately. And obviously, on hit, he can combo into, like, a crumple state and, full combo. Or he can just teleport in and fucking die for it. Well, like some people try to say he's plus. I don't think he's plus. Like I was definitely mashing on him, and he was definitely getting counter hit, or you could just throw him on reaction. He has good anti-airs because he throws the ghost out upward, which obviously it's an automatic answer. I don't think he gets a combo from it, but it forces a soft knockdown, and he's right next to you. So you kind of have to be on your toes on like what the fuck's happening. He can also trade position with the ghost at any point in time. So he can throw the ghost up, swap places with it, and then do like a falling overhead, like a falling cross up, which cross ups get swapped by the block button. But still, it's there just because someone isn't holding the block button. Yeah, teleport is definitely not plus. So a lot of people try to tell me he's like +1, +2. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's not fucking plus. I definitely was mashing 5A with the fucking quiz, and niggas was definitely getting fucking counter hit like consistently. So I think they were saying it's plus because they weren't reacting to the actual teleport. Like, they didn't realize he was behind them until it was already too late. He was already mashing, so fuck it. I don't like his lack of defense. He doesn't have an actual DP. His DP, or his frame of vulnerable move that every character has, is a frame 1 teleport. And actually, I don't even think it's frame 1. It might be frame 1, I don't know. But I definitely remember hitting a lot of ghost plays with it. So, and he can do it multiple times, but I think that's not consistent enough. Because what if you fight an Inquisitor who decides to do flame wheel Oki, and that's not going to get you out of there? Like, you're just going to teleport into the wheel, and you just have to hold that shit. His 6S, I think it is, where he leans forward and does the cross up slashes. That's actually a cross up. You have to block it cross up. Which is hard and neutral because it's hard to react to. If it's you can react to it, it's just really, really hard. It's like on the border of like reacting. But like you have to block, or like you have to be holding forward to block that move. And it's pretty fast too on top of it. And it has a pretty decent range on it. So I think his defense is kind of suspect, but his damage is good. His setups with the ghost is pretty good. When he sends out the ghost, he starts slashing at you while the ghost play is still like running amok. I think that's really good too. But I really think his lack of defense, and like there's nothing he really did that was like I don't know what to do. Like there was situations against the Berserker, I was like I don't know what to do. Situation with the Dragon, I don't know what to do. Crusader, like I don't know what the fuck to do. If I do anything, I die. I never had that feeling with the Ghost Blade. There was no scenario when I fought one I was like, wow, that's fucking strong. Like, wow, I do anything, you just get cooked. So, right below him is the Grappler. The Grappler definitely got cooked this time around. He lost his Infinite, which sucks. But I still think he's a solid character. He's still a grappler. No, in my opinion, no grappler can ever be fucking bad. Because if the player is good, they're just gonna smoke you regardless of what the fuck happens. Because he just makes 2 reads and you're fucking dead. Like that's essentially all he does. I literally watched a grappler in the tournament make 2 reads and he killed someone in 3 hits. Because he read a move 2 times in a row and they fucking died. So nothing can ever make me say he's a bad character. The shoulder tackle goes through everything and it's safe on block. And if you try to jump over it and try to punch him out of it, which you can't because it has infinite armor on it, he gets a full combo on counter hit. And it does a lot of damage too. He has anti-air grabs, a fucking frame 1 counter, an air-to-air grab, hard knockdown. What doesn't he has a +1 block normal. Like if you hold, I think his 6S or it's just his regular S, where he does like the little doom doom, that's +1 block, and you just have to hold that shit. Why does he of all people have a +1 block normal like that? The fucking grappler who has built-in 50/50s has a +1 block move that doesn't cost mana. So I say he is slow. He's definitely one of the slowest characters in the game. But he is a grappler. That is what's supposed to happen. But it's one thing I'm kind of noticing, the trend with these character-driven games, that if your game is character-focused, like all the strength lies within the character, grapplers tend to not be as strong. Because the other characters have ways of keeping them out, right? Like how is he getting in versus the Ranger other than tech roll and shoulder tackle? How's he getting in versus the Inquisitor other than tech roll and shoulder tackle? Like he can't eliminate that spacing. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that is the biggest flaw with him. He happens to be a grappler in a character-driven game, and character-driven games tend to have not the strongest grapplers. Not always, but I tend to. And then Hitman. I feel like I should put the Hitman here, to be honest. He would either be next to the Vanguard or next to the Grappler. But I feel like I should put him here, just get a bit of diversity. But I don't think the Hitman was that good. Now that I think about it, like I played him a few times. I do think he's fun, but the more I played him, the more I was like, okay, he's hard to approach. He's really hard to approach. He controls the mid space pretty well. But I think there are other characters who also control the mid space pretty well. the Inquisitor, the Berserker, Crusader, the Ranger, the Ghostblade, they all do the same thing, but better. You think the Hitman? I do not think the Hitman's broken. I think the only broken thing about the Hitman is his 6MS. 6MS is pretty much a smaller version of the Flame Wheel in the Tornado. It's plus on block, does a ton of chip damage and a ton of guard break damage, but it only costs 70 mana instead of 90 mana, which is fucking insane to me. But other like I said, there was nothing he did that stood out to me. That was like, oh shit, this is kind of nice. Other than the space control and his 6MS. So maybe he could be the new Ranger for me. Like I said, I thought the Ranger was okay in the first beta, and the Hitman was pretty good. But I didn't see a whole lot of Rangers in the first beta. Now I saw more, but okay, this character is kind of bonkers. Maybe the Hitman is 6MS makes it easy tier. Facts. So I'm thinking maybe the Hitman is the exact same way. Like maybe he's pretty good, but I just don't see a lot of people use him right. You know, like not many people are playing him the way he should be played. So you think 6MS makes him A tier easy? I can agree with that. I just don't want to. I don't want to overbloat the A tier. That's the only issue. Like I don't want to put everyone in the A tier. Like that kind of makes it really bloated. But just know that this is ordered. So I guess that can be like a slight way of like changing things up. Peace CFN. I appreciate the follow, bro. So that would be my DNF Duel Open Beta 2 tier list. Berserker, and this is ordered, by the way. This is actually ordered. Berserker, Dragon Knight, Crusader, top 3, followed by Inquisitor, Kunoichi, Jessel's sitting in top 5, then Ranger, Striker, Ghostblade, Grappler, and Hitman and Vanguard bringing up the rear. Yeah, like this is almost like Dragon Ball FighterZ until LabCoat 21 showed up. Don't let the B tier fool you. Like these characters can still fuck you up. Vanguard will still fuck you up. Like he will, like if a Vanguard is decent, you're not getting close to him regardless of what the fuck happens. You're getting guard broken, you're gonna fucking die for it. I do think the game is pretty balanced. I think most of the imbalance comes from the game's mechanics or lack thereof for that nature. But that will do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the beta, and I'm gonna be uploading some more DNF Duel beta to the YouTube as well. So be on the lookout for that. Until then, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.